All right, let's talk about something absolutely critical for anyone working in the cloud, AWS S3 security. We're not just going to talk about locking a door. Oh no, we are going to design and build an impenetrable data fortress, and we're going to do it one layer at a time.
So let me just ask you this straight up. It's the one question that should honestly be on every developer's mind. You've pushed your data to S3, but is it really locked down? Are you sure? Let's find out.
In this quote, it just nails the mindset you have to adopt. It's all about zero trust. Because the cloud is unforgiving, One tiny little misconfiguration, one wrong click, and you could have a massive data leak on your hands. So we have to assume nothing is safe by default.
To make this all super clear, we're going to use a metaphor. Think of your S3 bucket as a fortress. First, we'll build the massive outer walls, then we'll post guards at the gates, and finally, we'll encrypt the treasure inside. It all starts with that first, and maybe most important, layer of defense.
So our first stop is building that giant outer wall for our fortress. This is the one feature, the one switch, that can stop a disaster before it even has a chance to happen.
The best way to think about block public access is like the main circuit breaker in your house, right? Even if someone goes into a room and flips on a light switch, if that main breaker is off, nothing happens, no power. This is your ultimate safety net. It overrides everything else.
And look, I really can't say this enough. This is not an optional setting. For any bucket holding real sensitive production data, this feature has to be enabled. It's literally the first thing you should check and the very first thing you should turn on, full stop.
And when you turn it on, you get these 4 specific locks. You just check all 4 boxes. By doing that, you're stopping any new public permissions, you're neutralizing any old ones that might be hanging around, and you're blocking any future policies that could open that door. It's a complete, comprehensive shield.
Okay, so our main wall is up. It's solid. Now we need to post some guards at the gate to decide who gets the keys to come inside. In the world of S3, our guards, our gatekeepers, our policies.
This right here is the simplest way to get your head around the 2 main policy types. Think of it like this. An IAM policy is attached to a person. It asks, what can this person do anywhere in AWS? But a bucket policy is attached to the place, the bucket itself, and it only asks who is allowed to come to this specific place.
So let's break that down just a little more. An IAM policy attached to a user can give them really broad powers across lots of services. A bucket policy, on the other hand, is attached right to the S3 bucket, and it only, and I mean only, applies to that one bucket. So what's the takeaway? Use IAM for your team's general day-to-day permissions, but use bucket policies when you need really specific, tight control over one bucket, especially for things like giving another AWS account access.
All right, now for a really simple rule. If policies are our modern, high-tech security guards, then access control lists, or ACLs, well, they're the old, rusty locks that we just need to get rid of.
Seriously, ACLs are a relic. They're from a time before we had these powerful IAM policies. They let you set permissions on every single file, which, as you can imagine, becomes a total nightmare to manage. The modern way, called Bucket Owner Enforced, just simplifies everything. It basically says, hey, we're going to ignore all those messy ACLs. From now on, only the buckets policies matter.
Okay, progression check. The walls are up, the guards are at the gate. The final step is to secure the actual treasure inside the vault. And we do that with encryption. So when you think about encryption, it's not just a technical choice. It's a strategic one. The kind of encryption you pick really depends on your security needs, your compliance needs. So let's look at the options. Choosing the right tool for the job is key here. SSE S3, that's your standard set it and forget it option. Simple, effective, done. But let's say you're in an industry like finance or healthcare where you need a paper trail of who's using the encryption keys and when. Then you're going to want SSE KMS. And if your company has a super strict policy that says you must manage your own keys, well, that's what SSCC is for. And let's just bust a really common myth right now. People worry, oh, if I turn on encryption, is it going to slow my whole application down? The answer is no. This is all handled by AWS on specialized hardware. There's no performance hit for being secure, so just turn it on.
All right, our fortress is built. So let's run through a few common scenarios, kind of like a lightning round Q&A, just to make sure these rules are totally crystal clear.
Okay, this is it. This is probably the single most important rule in all of AWS permissions.
You've got these conflicting signals. One policy says, yes, you can come in, and the other one says, no way. So what happens?
I want you to remember this. Burn it into your brain. It doesn't matter how many allow statements you have. If there is a single explicit deny anywhere in that chain, IAM policy, bucket policy, doesn't matter. The request is denied. End of story. Deny always wins.
Oh, this is a classic. I bet you've run into this. Your bucket is locked down tight, as it should be, but you need to send just one file to a partner or a client who doesn't have an AWS account. You definitely don't want to make the whole bucket public, so what do?
The answer is a pre-signed URL, and this feature is just brilliant. You basically generate a special, unique link that has a security token built into it, and it's only good for a short time. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe an hour, you decide. It gives one person access to one file for a limited time without ever compromising the security of your fortress.
So, we've built our fortress, but how do we patrol the walls? How do we make sure that no one accidentally left a side door unlocked?
Well, AWS gives you two really great tools for this. First is the simple visual check. In the S3 console, if any of your buckets are public, they'll be flagged with this big, bright orange public label. You can't miss it. And for a much deeper, automated check, you can use IAM Access Analyzer. It'll scan everything and alert you if it finds any policies that might be granting access you didn't intend. And there you have it. That's our blueprint. We've built the outer walls with that master safety switch, we've posted guards at the gate using smart policies, and we've secured the treasure inside with encryption. So now you can take this plan back to your own cloud, look at your own buckets, and ask that really important question. Are my walls truly secure?